Okay, so Brian, can you introduce yourself? Tell us who you are and what you do.
Yeah, my name is Brian Overheit. I'm the business manager for Terrace Supply Company, and I handle the marketing and accounting and overall financial business plans of Terrace Supply.
Well, tell us a little bit more about Terrace Supply. What do you supply?
Our slogan is We Supply Solutions. We supply industrial gas, welding supplies, and automotive refinish supplies to a wide range of customers in the Chicagoland area.
Now, I know that in the distribution industry has become more and more important for distributors to really be able to communicate. You've got two very distinct groups that you have to communicate with: the manufacturers who bring you the materials that you're going to supply to the end users, and then, of course, the end users being able to communicate with you to look and see where my order is, what's available, and to manage my inventory. Are you doing anything with your customers to be able to help them do that?
We are. In the near future, we're instituting a new CRM system which will allow our customers to access their information, their account information, via the Internet and go directly into our system and see what open orders they might have, what things they've ordered in the past, and their accounts receivable.
That's when you first really got involved with Scott Brennan and CMIT Solutions. How did you meet Scott?
Scott had sent out some marketing materials to us, and they were very unique, and the letters and the flyers that I read all addressed the points where we had issues with our current computer provider.
So tell me about those issues. What were the problems that you were facing?
Our previous computer provider was someone we had used for over 20 years, and we were very comfortable with that company, but I didn't see the drive and the professionalism to take us to the next level. We were looking at putting in a new computer system, and we needed a team that would help us implement that system.
Now, as I understand, you were also having some pretty regular outages where your computer system or your network connections weren't working. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
We did, and when we brought CMIT in, they were able to solve those problems, to fix those issues that we had with our backup systems, which was very important to us. That was our entire database. We didn't know if we were getting good backups nightly. We need that information. That's our intellectual property, and if that disappears, that could mean the end of our business. We realized what a huge risk and a huge chance we were taking by not having consistent backups. We service over 5,000 customers, and if we didn't have that data, we wouldn't have any information on pricing. We wouldn't have any past histories on our customers. We wouldn't know what the customers owed us. We wouldn't know what inventory we had. Our data is everything that we have.
Right. Well, let's just take one thing. As I understand, you have customer-specific pricing for those 5,000. So in order for you to stay in business, you still have to sell something to those 5,000 the day after the fire. So what would you have done? How would you have actually gone back and reconstructed that?
We would have had to have done it manually. We would have gone back through our paper invoices and researched pricing, researched products, and we probably would have ended up losing money and discounting pricing to customers that may not have achieved the level of discount pricing.
If you just took one client that said, I need to know what my pricing is, how long do you think it would take you to go in and find invoices, look at the invoices enough to be able to figure out what the pricing would be to reestablish just one of those 5,000? Do you have any idea how long that would take you?
I don't even want to think about that.
Oh, come on. Come on, Brian. Now think about it. How? 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes?
No, that would have taken one person probably more than a day.
For one client?
For one client.
We're talking about 5,000 days then?
Absolutely.
Oh, my God. No wonder you didn't want to think about it, Brian.
We don't want to think about that.
Well, I hope that everybody listening to this is hearing this, because Brian has done something that many companies don't do to protect their customers, and that is you've really now gone in and looked at this and said, we need to have an absolute certifiable program that we know works. I mean, do you have a way now of knowing that your data is actually backed up? I mean, I know you've put it in, but you thought it was being backed up before. What makes you think it's backed up now?
We do have a way to do that. There's a system that CMIT has provided where we can access our data and we can actually look at it and see that that data is there. So it's a fantastic system.
You must be sleeping a lot better at night.
We are, all of us. And it allows us to get focused on the things that we need to focus on. Instead of worrying about our data and our computer systems, we're able to move forward with our company and projects and things that we need to do.
Now, one of the things that CMIT did for you when they made this transition is they protected your interests, because one of the things you were concerned about, and I think this sometimes stops a lot of people from making changes, is they've got an existing person, they've worked with them for a long time, they've got all their passwords and access to everything. How did CMIT go about helping you make this transition to them without exposing you to the risk that maybe somebody is unhappy and they kind of try to sabotage this changeover? How did they do that?
They did a fantastic job with that. They came in and we sat down and discussed it ahead of time. We developed a plan in coordination with the CMIT and their technicians, and they went to all three of our locations at the same time. And when we were ready to make the switch, they did that and dropped in their new passwords and basically took over our system, and we did not have one problem with that switchover.
Wow.
So if it's stopping some people from doing it, I highly recommend that if that's the only reason that you're not moving forward, then don't let that stop you, because they did a fantastic job of switching us over.
How important was it for you that not only the local service of CMIT Solutions with Scott Brennan was there, but that this is also part of a national franchise organization? How important was that for you?
That was very important. That was one of the things that I noticed from Scott's Flyers. I had a situation where we had one person. If that person decided to quit or move to the Caribbean, get hit by a bus, whatever it was, we needed someone else, other people to know our system. And the fact that it's a national company, I know that there's a network of knowledgeable, experienced individuals that are out there that can solve a problem that if Scott and his team come up against something that they can't find the answer to, they'll be able to find it in that network of national support.
Now, you've decided to opt for the managed services solution, and that is a proactive solution called Marathon that's sold by CMIT that manages your computers remotely, that is watching them 24/7. Why did you decide to do that as opposed to the more traditional, what we call break-fix model, where basically you wait till the computer's broken and then you call in to get it fixed? Why did you go that direction?
Again, it's a situation where we don't want to worry about things that might happen. If something happens, CMIT will take care of it. I want to be able to focus on moving the business forward and making our company more productive, more profitable, more efficient. Those are the things that we need to focus on. We can't worry about our infrastructure and something that may fail or will fail. If it does, then I know it's going to be handled, and that's well worth the cost of the managed system.
And you used to have a lot of outages, you said, with the other company. How reliable has your technology been since CMIT put Marathon in?
We haven't had a problem.
None at all?
None at all.
Great. Well, tell me about Scott Brennan, just as an individual. What's he like to work with?
Scott and I met for the first time over breakfast, and from the moment I met him, I knew I was dealing with a professional. He presents himself that way in his marketing materials, and he presents himself that way in person. He brings a business-like approach to an industry that sometimes is more dominated by individuals and individual people and individual companies that don't provide a customer focus. They provide a, we'll take care of you when we get to you type approach. Scott and CMIT do not do that. They focus on the needs of the business and understand the importance of customer service.
Well, tell me a little bit more about that, because there's a lot of people out there that they can turn a screwdriver, they can install software, they can fix or maintain computers, but very few of them are really good strategic resources when it comes to your business. Really asking the right kinds of questions, really digging in to understand your business and be proactive in bringing you solutions. What's Scott like in that area?
He's fantastic. We have sat down on more than one occasion to discuss our plans for the future, and he has come back with suggestions that we've implemented, and he is getting more and more familiar with our business, and as he does so, he provides more and more solutions to the issues that we face.
So when do you think a company like yourself, a small business, a small to mid-sized business, when do you think they should pick up the phone and call CMIT Solutions? What would be happening in their business when they realize they need help?
Anytime they're in a situation where they have to wait on service anytime that they find themselves in a situation where their computer systems, their infrastructure is breaking down, when they don't have reliable backups, the list goes on and on. But just even talking to CMIT, you'll understand the difference of 90% of the companies out there that deal with the computers and technology industry. It's very refreshing to see a company like this grow and develop.
Is there any last thing that you'd like to add in terms of anybody out there who's thinking about working with Scott Brennan or CMIT Solutions? Any last words of wisdom?
I highly recommend them. They have done everything that they said they were going to do, again, which is something new that I haven't seen from a technology company. And I've worked with 7 or 8 technology companies over the years, and Scott and his crew at CMIT have been fantastic.